Good morning and welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman. Says I'm live, so I'm going to trust that. Welcome you all to this week's show. Today is a full moon, Friday the 13th. And what better can we have than some spiritual guidance? I think that as I woke up this morning and started to think about what I was going to talk about on this show, spiritual guidance had been on my forefront pretty much all week. And my relationship with it and its relationship with me. And I've been experiencing, like many of you, a lot of stressful situations, a lot of old things coming up to remind me that no matter how far I've come and how I've expanded and grown, both spiritually and consciously, there's more work to do. And it's not always easy, no matter where we're coming from or where we think we're headed. And so we need guidance. When I look out in the world, I see that the guidance systems are broken, that they're changing. They're changing to serve a few, not the whole. I see all of the pain and suffering that you see, and I feel it deeply within my heart, and many times feel overwhelmed. And so as I experience these things, I know also that each of you are experiencing this uniquely in your own way. And in today's world, we're sort of frowned upon if we look for assistance from something that can't be seen or can't be validated in a physical form. And many of us feel, we question ourselves, the validity and the reality of that. So part of my job or my responsibility as what I call an earth angel is to remind us, to continually not just remind you, but to remind me as well. I'm part of the us, of this divine connection that we have, and how important it is to stoke the fire of that, if you will. I'm seeing the fire, and when the flame goes down, let's stoke it up a little and put a little more wood on it and trust it deeper. So good morning, Joni, Anita, Dawn, Julia. Blessings to all of you who are not appearing on my thing. I see 47 people, or it says 47 up in there. I don't trust anything now. These computers tell me. they've lied to me more than humans have, believe me. And it's just and so now I look at them as a lovely tool, but I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to depend my life being on these computers and this technology that everybody seems to be just gaga about. I'm not so gaga, thank you very much, which is why I'm talking about spiritual guidance today. Do you need a message today, Angelina? Well, you're going to get a message, and this is what we're here to do, is message. And normally I pull cards before I get online. And I did that this morning, and I'm not going to tell you what they were because the first one shocked me, but the second one clarified it a little bit more, and I began to write my notes. And what I realized that what we do is when we seek help, what we're really actually trying to do is find a voice that is going to speak about both darkness and light, so that we can make a better determination of where are we going and how far off the center path are we. And so that's what spiritual guidance really is about. It's about tapping into a much higher level of our own self-awareness and connecting with other, be they dimensional or spiritual beings, to confirm or to deny and alleviate some of the fear that we may be experiencing in making choices. So many of us, as we grew up as little children, before we were taught to use our rational mind to make decisions, we trusted everybody. We were open fields of trust. Unless perhaps we had a in utero experience which shut us down before we even entered into the physical atmosphere of the third dimension. And that happens. I know for myself that was part of my journey, and so I can empathize with others who have had that and help them discern that it isn't something that we have done. It is something that has been done, and we didn't have the ability to discern what was happening. So it left an indelible mark on our life pattern. And we can dissolve those, we can erase those, and we can look at them and then pin them up on the wall as posters to remind us that that's not our reality. That was what happened pre-human consciousness. With that said, I'm veering off the path because my notes were pretty scattered this morning. My thought patterns were scattered, and I think that's part of the full moon right now. The full moon energies have a purpose of empowering us to be on somewhat an overload in which we have to go back and trust who we are rather than what's being shown around us. And in that moment, we go back to, well, who do I talk to? Who do I speak to? So yesterday morning, the important message that I arose with as I saw a picture that I had posted of a crystal grid I created 5 years ago. And the meaning of that grid is irrelevant, but the message that came through from what I call a collective consciousness group that I don't know how other to describe them. And that's what the information I receive is, and the message is this: your personal commitment to your crystalline collective consciousness is to be taken to the next level. Okay, so I want you to adapt that to what is the next level of conscious awareness for you. There is no turning back now, as the major pathways have now been restructured and reinforced through higher multi-dimensional alignments. Now, many of us have no clue what that might be or what that might even mean. But if I could briefly explain it, is that we live in a vast world of beingness that we, in our limited human form, can't fully recognize or understand or put into words, because there are no words at that level. It's sound, it's vibration, it's light. And everything that is in those higher dimensional or other dimensional places understand it completely, because that's all they know, just as this is pretty much all we know. So don't try to figure that out, but know that there has been a greater alignment on a higher multidimensional level that is allowing for us to grow, mature, deepen, if you will, into this spiritual connection with parts of ourselves and others and each other as we move through this challenging time of what I call human evolution. The last line to that message was, know that all of your efforts are constantly being assisted and guided through peace, light, and love. Keep trusting your guides, no matter what you may experience as discomfort. And I didn't think I was going to read that this morning. I didn't think I was going to do a lot of things this morning. And what I'm trusting now is my guides, my spiritual guidance to carry forth what I speak to you about. Yes, I have my show notes in front of me, and I scroll them and I don't look at them, and I look at you and then I look at the screen, and it's very interesting to trust something we can't see, feel, touch, smell, or hear out loud with our five senses. But it's a natural part of who we are. At the end of my notes, I wrote something, if I can find it here. Each of us are spiritual beings, whether you like that term or not. Each of us have a genetic ability to tune into other dimensions and energetic frequencies. All of us will biologically respond to energy and create a physical action. So when we think of ourselves as humans, we think of this physical body, because this is where we dwell, in this physical body. But who is this we? So that's what the spiritual guidance is for, is to talk to the we as this beautiful collective of consciousness that exists even after the physical body changes form. This full moon is, I think, a really powerful full moon to bring up all of these opposites. And I was brought to my childhood when I was thinking about this. And the vision that came to me was being at the beach as a child. And there was a guy he had a chair and a scale, whatever, and he was there with a bunch of stuffed animals and whatever, and he was called Fool the Guesser. And I loved that guy. I thought that guy was just so cool because he kept me captivated. He would guess and he'd be wrong, but it was okay to be wrong, and they'd win a prize, and everybody seemed to be happy, and it just, as in a child's mind, it was like, oh, that's cool, but the whole thing was a scam. He didn't care whether he guessed your age or your weight, because he was going to win anyway. It was rigged in his favor. And only now, as we look around the world, we see that. We see that in the power structure of our world. It's been rigged. It's been rigged. And we're consciously aware of that now. And yet we're still falling for the same trick. And the trick was, we're being made to believe that we won something when we actually are paying for it. When I was a child, it was dollars, so I didn't have all dollars, so I always wanted dollars so I could play this game. As an adult, my whole life, I still wanted dollars so I can play this game. But the game's not fun anymore, because I see the truth and the reality behind it, and I feel disjointed. I feel And I know each of you do that as well. You feel separate and you feel disconnected. And what happens in that case is we question who we are. We should be questioning who they are. And why are we giving away our sovereign power in our spiritual connection to them so that they can offer us this artificial intelligence and this new way of connecting technologically when we've always been created to connect from the heart? And these are not in my show notes. These are what's coming from my heart based on my writing those notes this morning. So let's see what we have in the column. You'd love to hear the crystal bowls ring. Well, I can, I'm here to play today. It's a full moon. So this little bowl, which is nice and easy to handle with my hand, is probably a perfect one. This one's going to connect to your pineal gland. And what that does is it opens the gateway for us to receive higher information. It clears the energetic vibrations that tend to force it shut. So I don't know how this is going to play on the screen, but just take a moment to take a deep breath. Relax it with sound so that you know that as we breathe, we create sound, even in slow breath. There we go. Gently breathe that in. Knowing that in our hearts we are one. Knowing that our voices, when we are one, come into oneness. Knowing that separation is an illusion that we have been taught to believe. Thank you. I hope that came out well. I don't know. I've not done that before. So thank you, Felix, or whoever it was. Lori asked me to play those. So the in utero experience just blew your mind. You're saying you were held back at birth and wonder how it affected you. I can't answer that, but it did affect you. And so for all of you, I encourage you all to, sometimes if you can't find the answer in how you've developed patterns in your life, to go even deeper into that in utero experience. I know there are some people who are trained to help others, assist others journey there. That's not my particular practice, but I encourage people to do it and have done it with people on many levels to assist them and sit with them as they go back, and because it can become uncomfortable and very disturbing sometimes what we find when we journey back. Again, here's where spiritual guidance comes in, and listening and trying to connect to that part of ourselves that is connected to that spiritual guidance. Laurie does not enjoy people at this time. Laurie, I can certainly understand why you wouldn't enjoy a lot of people, but not all people are stuck in that place where you might feel that energy that is disturbing to you. And that's what we're learning to come out of, is to look at these people that have this disturbing energy and realizes that they're messengers for us. They're a spiritual messenger for us. And usually what happens is when they disturb our energy field, it's triggering the energy in us to take a look at our energy and how it's reacting. Don't take it so much as a personal human dislike. Know that everybody in our life is a messenger. The people we think who are wonderful and the people we think who are horrible, because they're all displaying something that's triggering the energy in us to take a deeper look at, so that we can make this new awareness of it and say, I don't want this. This is not who I am. And the question is, who am I? Always appears. These are our mirrors. These are the people who are assisting us, totally unaware, and certainly in not what we would call lovable or kind ways. But pay attention, because if they repeat and we do nothing, they will keep repeating in different forms. So just be gentle with yourselves as we, again, this full moon brings us this awareness to see the darkness. And it's not only the darkness around us, but the darkness within us that we're not consciously aware of and has been kept undercover for so many, sometimes lifetimes. So I'm trying to work with you today, which is, I don't usually do this. Thank you, Margaret, for feeling the pineal healing. We're all clearing that area of our head. We're now working from from this higher part of ourselves, especially those who are tuning into humanity healing and other spiritually uplifting or enlightening programs and people, because this is what we need. This is the way away from the fool, the guesser. The charade is over. We see them for who they are. And while we can't always do something in that moment physically, when we walk away, what we need to do is just look and say, I just need to be more aware of what that looks like when it's presented to me. So whether it's the man at the carnival or the man or the person at the beach or whoever it is, or the leadership of your company or your country, if you see them as this person who's playing a charade and is not speaking from the true heart and the heart of the good of humanity, the whole humanity, then know them for who they are and trust them accordingly. If they merit little trust, then give them little trust. Trust them where you feel they are speaking the truth, and honor that in them. Because there's always good in someone. But it doesn't mean that we want them to be the leaders of our new evolving world. And this is our responsibility. And this is how spiritual guidance helps us to discern better. Who do we align with? Who do we not align with? It's not good. It's not bad. It's just what now is the best for my heart and the best for the hearts of all humans. More, I'm not even going to look through my notes, but it's all about the future generations. What are we doing? What are we setting forth for our children and our children's children? And how can we now, in this body and in this lifetime, seek guidance from our higher self and divine guidance, spiritual guidance, and bring forth the energies that are needed right now to enhance and enrich their lives. This is where we're at. This is why the grid lines have been changed. This is why the energies have been changed. And here on Earth, many of those people in charge are doing the same thing, trying to keep what they have. Keep that game of charades playing out because they win. And for them, that's all they know. They don't know how it is to experience life from the heart, because if they did, they wouldn't do what they're doing. It's real simple. It's not brain surgery. So too with us. This is where we're making the shift and the change. So as I always pull cards, I only got a couple of minutes left. Instead, I ran my mouth. But I did play a bowl, so that's good. So these are the Sacred Space Meditation cards, which are beautiful. And they're all these beautiful, beautiful colors of the galaxy, which I consider the womb, the real womb of our world. And out of the middle, without looking, I pull this picture right here. And this is, it doesn't tell me what it is. Oh, M82, Messier M82, a beautiful galaxy. And the card is, you see it? Visions. I envision my world, and I know that I create it with mine and God's plan. If you don't believe in God per se, whatever higher source of creative energy you believe in, put that there. Mine and that creative source are co-creators of this vision. The affirmations for that are, I choose happiness over hardship. I release what no longer serves me. I see the spiritual being I am, and my vision is of something great. My sight is on a new world of oneness and peace. And you saw me, I just randomly picked that out of that deck. I have another deck called the Everyday Goddess. And since it's the full moon, I honor the goddess energy, the divine feminine creator energy, because creative energy is both masculine and feminine. And so I'm just shuffling these cards randomly, and I'm going to pull one magically out of the thing. And there it is. And it is world. The quote at the bottom is, I am one with God. Once again, whatever you believe is a supreme force of creation. We have many words. We have many religions based on all of these thoughts. It's irrelevant if you're going to sit and just argue about them. What's important is that whatever speaks to you, listen to it and follow the light of it, not the darkness. This is what the full moon is telling us. It's the light that reveals the darkness so that we can work and we can see it, we can work on it, and we can begin to understand how we can rectify our lives and our compassion for each other and our deepening relationship. The last card I'm going to pull is the Kuan Yin Oracle, which is probably my favorite deck because she's just an amazing being in my world. And the card is the 8 Immortals. And I'm going to tell you, this is the same card I pulled this morning by myself. And you saw me shuffle the deck. I didn't, this is not a trick. This is not, I don't do magic tricks. That's the same card I pulled this morning. And what the 8 Immortals really represent, because I'm basically out of time, is that number 9. It's a number 9. And we're in the 9-9 sequence all the way up to, was it 927, which is a 9. And here's what it says. The messages you have been receiving that are unconditionally loving, fearless, and encouraging of you to grow and be your true self are from your higher guidance. The 8 Immortals and other beings of divine light and divine love are guiding you. It is safe to follow these messages now. Doing so will bring you greater joy. I love you. Love you all. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. Together, we are unity. I want to thank you all for showing up this morning. For those who listen in the after time, please know that it's up to each of us right now to deepen our relationship as spiritual beings. And whatever that means to you, to honor you in the process. And let's stop playing fool the guesser. With that, I'm complete. Have a great week, and you'll see me around wherever I am doing it, whatever it is I'm called to do. But most importantly, co-create a better world with each of you. I'm complete. I thank you all for showing up. Sorry I didn't get to answer and talk to everybody, but I did good. I did well. And for that, I thank each of you, because without you, I couldn't be me in my fullness. Blessings. Have a great week, and enjoy whatever it is you're doing. Bye-bye.